Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well. I'm not feeling that great today. I'm having bloating and stomach cramps and feeling flushed, but I've got my fan set on high and blowing on me, so I feel a little better. Today I wanted to talk about how BPD and PTSD interact in a relationship. And I don't really write scripts out for my videos, so I'm gonna have to pause a lot, so if the video quality seems kind of choppy, that's why. So, BPD is mostly an illness that reflects relationships, not affects relationships. Said my R a little too soon. Okay. Let me start over. So BPD is an illness that mostly affects relationships. There's intense fear of abandonment, the idealizing and devaluing, the splitting, which is basically the idealizing and devaluing, just with a simpler term. And when you throw the emotional mess that is BPD into a relationship, like, not gonna lie, it is tough. Before I really started doing this intense DBT, I was kind of like a landmine. Something would get said and I'd interpret it the wrong way and I'd just kind of blow up. And when you're dating someone who has PTSD, that's not a good thing to do. My computer is really, really laggy. It is really distracting. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm gonna try to just look into the camera. So yeah, if you're dating someone with PTSD, blowing up is probably the worst possible thing you can do. Especially if they come from an abusive household. So I really had to learn to control my emotions. DBT, too many acronyms. DBT talks about wise mind, emotion mind, and logic mind. So I find in an argument, while natural Morgan wants to just be an emotion mind and just be really hot-headed and quick to throw a tantrum, I really need to channel logical mind. I need to ask questions. I need to not make assumptions. I need to say, well, why do you feel this way? Or, you know, why did you say that? Instead of just, oh, you're so mean. And I admit I'm not good during an argument. I just blow up and shut down. And when you add PTSD into the mix, blowing up and shutting down is obviously not a good thing to do. That can lead to the person, you know, thinking about their abusive relationships and, you know, feeling upset or angry or scared. And then that just makes the argument even worse because then you're both really emotional. And and when you get really emotional, you say things you don't really mean. I know, especially with splitting and devaluing, you can just be like, ugh, I hate you. Which is really not a good thing to do. You can be quick to overreact with either illness. So it's my job as the borderline to keep my emotions in check. And my favorite quote about DBT is that logic mind is right, but emotion mind still needs to be soothed. So I need to use logic mind, and I need to put emotion mind on the back burner. And you'll notice I don't neglect it completely, because I'll say, I'm learning to say, you know, it kind of hurts when you say this. And it turns out that is a whole lot better than just blowing up or shutting down. Just saying, I feel hurt when you say this. And it's important to remember I statements. I think, I feel, not you're doing this to me. Because in an abusive relationship, that is pretty much all you get is you, it's your fault. It's your fault. And I don't want to be just an extension of that abusive relationship. So thanks to my new therapist, who has been really wonderful with DBT, I'm learning to kind of channel logic mind. And then once everything's cooled off, then I'm either able to use self-soothing skills, or kind of talk out my hurt feelings with my partner. And I'm not gonna pretend that any of this is easy. One of the worst parts about being borderline is knowing when you are being completely irrational, yet not being able to stop yourself. So it takes a lot of strength, willpower, and practice to kind of stop yourself from just blowing up or shutting down and reacting as emotionally as you want to. And this is why a good therapist is really, really important. I haven't had therapists who have been really this, going like this intensely into any sort of skills at all, much less DBT skills, which are saving my life and my relationship, to be honest. And mostly what I want to do is I want to give you hope that you can be borderline, or you can suffer from PTSD, and you can have a good, fulfilling, and loving relationship. Because I have borderline, my partner has PTSD, and yeah, it's tricky. Sometimes we hit each other's triggers, but you just have to learn, okay, that was a trigger, so we won't do it again in the future. I got some really good relationship advice from someone on Facebook. They told me to remember it's a relationship, not a battlefield. So it shouldn't be about fighting over who's right, or fighting over your emotions, what you feel, because I feel like as borderlines, we often feel like we need to prove that we're in pain and we need to just scream it out, and somehow just show the world, you know, we hurt. But there are a lot better ways to do that don't involve just fighting your partner. And if your partner is just going to be totally invalidating your emotions, then they're probably not a good partner. But I find when I'm able to talk calmly and rationally with my partner, that she will come to an understanding about, well, why is this a trigger for you? And she learns, you know, to avoid the triggers, just as I learned to avoid her triggers. And communication is a two-way street. So if you shut down, you're pretty much forcing the other person to fight just to talk to you. And that's not good. So to end this video, I just would like to say one more time, remember, it's a relationship, not a battlefield. And that, you know, it's possible. I think damaged people are somewhat attracted to each other, and that can be toxic. But it doesn't have to be. As long as you learn how to keep your issues in check, and they learn how to keep their issues in check, a good, healthy relationship is possible. And I'm going on 3 years with my girlfriend now, and it's been a rough ride at times, but it gets easier every day, and I think the world of her, and I love her, and I honestly would not trade it for anything in the world. So if you have any additional questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And I hope y'all have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.